Welcome to our discussion on learning that is a part of MS21, that is the social processes and behavioral issues. In this session, we are going to discuss about organizational learning and its theories. Second, we'll touch on the different forms of learning. Precisely, I'll be bringing you forth some 7 forms of organizational learning. We'll also be discussing about learning organization. One hand we are talking about organizational learning. Here we'll touch on the learning organization and the differences they have. We'll also be discussing the characteristics, its 5 main activities. We'll touch on understanding the application of learning in organization, and finally we'll end with the role of leadership in developing the learning organization. So first comes, what is organizational learning? It is like in a world of constantly changing, organizations must learn to adapt if they want to survive and thrive. So therefore, today's session will review first with some of the definition of organizational learning theory, and similarly the levels of organizational learning, and there are precisely 3 levels of organizational learning that happens in an organization. Let's start with some examples. When we see some of the successful companies that have been around for decades, like McDonald's, Toyota, Apple, you cannot help but wonder what their secrets to longevity is, how actually they have managed to outlast their competition, and how they're staying very relevant. If we guess what is the reason behind it, the answer maybe actually they keep on learning. So learning actually is like gaining the new knowledge and the ability they have to apply the new knowledge in order to improve the performance. So in the context of organization, learning help businesses to become more innovative and competitive. Additionally, when we see a very constantly and rapidly changing environment, business need to learn how to adapt and evolve in order to survive. So therefore, it is important to understand why organizational learning is so important. And exactly that is what we are going to discuss about it over here in this session. Let's start with the organizational learning theories. Organizational learning is an expansive and a diverse field, and it has an influence that is drawn from different domains like sociology, psychology, philosophy, business management, and there are several other disciplines. While there is no one definition to this concept, the organizational learning theory is commonly described as the process. The process of what? The process of developing, retaining, and transferring the knowledge within an organization. Therefore, from this perspective, organizational learning occurs as a result of experience. And we count that organization has learned from the experience by observing that there is a change that is happening in terms of the behavior that the people demonstrate during performance. If we'll move on, if we'll understand the historical backdrop of organizational learning, and specifically the learning itself, the importance of learning was first been put forward by a Chinese philosopher whose name is Confucius. He says that without learning, actually the wise person gets foolish. By learning, the foolish persons become wise. So what it means? Learning is referring over here something called as a relatively permanent change in behavior that is occurring as a result of experience. So the concept of learning organization is not new. Many authors have talked about it from others and also from the past experience. Probably on a book that got published on organizational learning dates back to 1987, wherein Garrett has written a book. The concept of organizational learning later actually the popularization, I mean to say, have happened by the book called Fifth Discipline. It's a very famous book. This is written by Peter Sain. This was released in 1990s. This book actually has triggered a great deal of interest in the subject of learning organizations. A large number of publications also appeared on the subject. If you'll see in the last, during a decade or so, the concept of learning is understood from various perspectives, and it is mainly been developed in the field of psychology over a long evolutionary history behind it. And the application of learning at the organizational level itself, it has not come into industrial practice until actually until 1980s, and this was primarily being conditioned as like organizational learning mean they call it as a collectivity of individual learning. Organizations, they used to name a department like training and development, say they call it as it is. So the process of individual learning has a very significant impact on the concept and practice of organizational learning. If we visit the concept and definition of organizational learning, it dates back to 1970s, wherein a psychologist whose name is Argyris, he proposed the concept of a very qualitative learning. He contrasted traditional learning called as a single loop learning. Single loop learning mean it is something like an incremental change within an existing framework, and double loop learning. Double loop learning emphasizes about test. Test mean testing the underlying assumptions and achieving the transformational change. Later, as I was referring to Peter Sain, he has actually contrasted adaptive learning with generative learning. We'll be discussing in detail about it. In 1993, another person called David Garvin, he has defined a learning organization as an organization which is very skilled at creating, acquiring, or transferring the knowledge. And when we do all these activities, it modifies the behavior which reflects the new knowledge and insights. So the above definition is of interest for a number of reasons, because first of all, we see that this particular definition, it focuses on behavior first. Okay, there is a change in behavior. Second, it is implying that the organizations have skill, and essential one being that of learning. Third, it focuses on transferring the knowledge. And finally, the use of concepts such as skills, knowledge, modifying the behavior, which indicate a language is very suggestive for HRD practice. As I said, the groundbreaking book, the name The Fifth Discipline, The Art and Practice of Learning Organization, written by Peter Sain, it has described the learning organization as a place where people are continually expanding their capacity to see that they are creating the results that the organization that they desire first, where actually you may see a different pattern of thinking, very new and expansive pattern of thinking gets nurtured in the process. Collective aspirations is set free, and people are continually learning to learn together. Another definition that was made by Ross, Smith, Roberts, and Klinner, they said, learning in an organization means continuous testing of experience and the transformation of that experience into knowledge. which is accessible to whole organization and it is relevant to its core purpose. So organizational learning means it is a process, the process of improving the actions through knowledge acquisition, a clearer understanding, and an improved performance. It is a method of detecting and correcting the errors. So some of the main issues of organizational learnings, if we see, it will come in the form of 3 M's. Okay, one is called as a meaning. That means the well-grounded definition of learning says, whatever we do, it must be actionable. Okay, whatever we learn, it must be actionable. It must be very easy to apply. Second talks about management. That means second M. That means the clear guidelines for practice. Whatever we do, whatever the actions that we do, there should be some kind of clear guidelines. And those need to be filled with operational advice rather than just having some kind of high aspirations. And third M is very, very important. That's called as measurement. So we need to come out with some better tools for assessing an organization's rate and level of learning to ensure that gains in fact have been made. Further, a learning organization is the one that facilitates learning of all its members and that continuously transform. So an interesting piece of research, I was able to trace it, which has been published just a couple of years back, that findings of it shows that leadership training can influence the forms of organizational learning and it provides a big gain for any organization. I think when I'm talking about the forms of organizational learning, there are actually the 7 forms. First is called as an individual learning. Individual learning says it is a learning wherein everyone undergoes either through experience or through a formal training. Number 2 talks about dialogue and inquiry learning that happens by a formally set up of a series of inquiry learning, the task of learning, and that occurs through a normal dialogue and a conversation. Third talks about team learning. Team learning is actually both a kind of formal or informal learning that team actually undergo as a team itself. There should be continuous learning, the 4th point. It is referring to the program and the opportunity the organization extends to its members so that people will be in a process of continuous learning. 5 talks about learning through empowerment, that refers to learning people and teams which accrue when they are given with the authority and responsibility. The 6th talks about embedded system learning. Embedded system learning promote learning and capture the organizational learning, which is referring to the learning that is gained from organizational systems, and that includes management information system, learning management system, operational and process system, and workflow, and learning from leadership, both directly and indirectly by observing the behavior and actions. So here, leaders and managers can act as role models. Now, let's talk about what is a learning organization. Learning organization, we should not confuse with organizational learning, which was actually been popularized by Peter Senge. It says, it describes an organization with an ideal learning environment which is perfectly in tune with the organizational goals. In learning organization, it should be an organization need to be a place where people continually can expand their capacity to create the result they are desiring for. New and expansive pattern of thinking are nurtured, collective aspirations are set free, and actually people over here are continually learning to see that the whole reality, they can visualize it together. Therefore, learners, a learning organization is a very active philosophy. It is not just an organizational system, because it believes that the competitive advantage they can secure for their organization by virtue of learning. It encourages people to learn to produce the results they desire. It nurtures the creative and innovative pattern of collective learning. So development of fresh organizational capability takes place all the time. So learners over here, the new ideas are essential if learning is to take place, whatever the sources are, because these are the ideas which triggers the improvement of an organization. When you talk about learning organizations that is skilled at 5 main activities, One is called as a systematic problem solving, because we need to rely on something called as a very scientific method. We should not do any kind of guesswork. It need to insist in terms of data rather than assuming something, and it is dependent on simple statistical tool to organize the data. Number two, it talks about experimentation. When you systematically look for and test the new knowledge, continuous improvement is taking place in new methods and technology. And similarly, there is a demonstration of organizational capability by introducing something called as a self-managing team and high level of worker autonomy. Third, talks about learning from past experiences. Over here, companies need to review its own success and failures, need to assess them systematically and record the lessons in a form that employees should find open and accessible. Fourth, it talks about learning from others, because sometimes the most powerful ideas and insights comes from one's immediate outside environment. So best industry practices need to be uncovered, need to be analyzed and adopted and implemented. Number five talks about transferring the knowledge. It is as like the knowledge must need to be spread quickly and efficiently throughout the organization. They need to make use of the mechanisms wherein they can use any mode of communication, like written or oral mode of communication. They can go for a site visit, tour, personal rotation program that can happen, the job rotations. Transfer can take place from one division to the other, one department to the other, one facility to the other, in different layers of management like senior, middle, and the first level managers. So this is what it talks about, something called as learning organizations activities. Next is called as the characteristics of learning organization. Some of the common characteristics or common operational practices of learning organizations are dealing with people. People are openness, systematic thinking, creativity, awareness of personal and organizational value, empathy, and sensitivity need to be touched. I think over here, if you visit Peter Senge, who popularized the term learning organization, he says that the learning organization characteristics are based on 5 principles. One is called as a personal mastery. That means we need to create an environment in an organization that encourages its members to develop themselves towards the goal, the purpose that they chose. Number 2 talks about the mental models. We need to reflect upon, continually clarify and improve the internal pictures of the world and see that how they shape our actions and decisions. We need to see in terms of shared vision, that is by building a sense of commitment in a group, by developing a shared image of the future and guiding principles and practices. We need to see in terms of team learning, that means transforming conversational and collective thinking skills so that the group of people can reliably develop the intelligence and ability which is greater than the sum of individual members' talents. You need to see about the systems thinking. That means thinking about and a language for describing and understanding the forces and interrelationships that shapes the behavior of the system. So therefore, learners, when we talk about a learning organization, it needs to be characterized by openness. The learning organization has to open to inquire and tolerate the criticism and debate. Innovations, it need to have an learning organization has an organic structure and culture which permits it to evolve rapidly. It is a deep skill base and capacity to deal internally with complexity and uncertainty. There should be a kind of strategic orientation. The learning organization need to care for both its customers and employees. So therefore, there are some of the set of characteristics of learning organization. It is in the form of having an approach towards learning. People need to participate in the policy making process. There should be an informating culture. There may be a formative accounting and control. There should be a correct and great deal of internal exchange, and there is a reward flexibility in terms of enabling the structure, and they need to have a good learning climate. So these are some of the things that need to be taken care in terms of fostering a learning organization. Therefore, friends, Garvin actually what he did, what I was referring earlier, he has argued that organizations basically learn through some of the important activities. For example, like, when there is a systematic problem solving, experimentation with new approaches, when there is learning from the experiences and past history, learning from the experiences and best practices from others, or transferring or having a habit of transferring the knowledge quickly and efficiently throughout the organization. So therefore, organization result learning is a result of an ongoing process that includes something like assimilating the information, translating the information into knowledge, applying the raw knowledge to real worlds, the real needs, receiving the feedback so that we can revise the information and reshape the knowledge. So these are some of the things we need to keep on, introspecting. If we'll visit about the application of learning on organization, there are three systematic approach to incorporate the learning in organization, which involve training, organizational behavior management, and discipline. As you say, training mean it is a process wherein people can systematically acquire and improve the skills and knowledge that is needed to better the job performance. And this training is accomplished by getting the outside experts to train personnel in-house, or by sending them to specialized program conducted by outside agencies. Some of the principles that help in effective training are like participation. This is like people not only learn more quickly but also retain the skills longer when they are actively participating. Repetitions, the benefit of repetitions is for learning the new skill. A task need not be emphasized. They need to have a transfer of training. This is learned during training session, which they need to apply it into a job, and there need to be proper feedback, because it is extremely difficult for learning to occur in the absence of a feedback. That is the knowledge of the result of one's action that also they need to know. Second point talks about organization behavior management. Organizational behavior management implies a systematic application of positive reinforcement principles in organization setting for the purpose of raising the incidence of the desirable organizational behavior. So to be effective in using the organizational behavior management programs, managers need to pinpoint the desired behavior. They need to determine exactly how will people perform the behavior they wish to change. They need to determine exactly what the performance goal is sought for and decide exactly the desired behavior, and they get rewarded. Third talks about discipline. Just as organizations systematically use the rewards to encourage the desirable behavior, they also use punishment to discourage the undesirable behavior. Therefore, there are innumerable problems in an organization. For example, we may see absenteeism happening, late coming, there is theft, alcoholism, substance abuse. So the company need to manage such a situation by timely administration of the punishment itself. So developing the learning organization, if you see, there are three primary tasks towards developing the learning organization. First of all, leaders and managers need to create opportunity for learning. Second, they must foster desirable norms and behavior. Third, they must actually personally lead the process of discussion, raise questions, listen attentively, and need to provide feedback. Therefore, organizations learn only through individual who learn. So individual learning actually does not guarantee also organizational learning. But without it, without individual learning, there is no organizational learning. So the approach that needs to be taken, the approach that actually needs to be taken is that the learning must be continuous and integrated, so that employees understand and accept the need for change, which finally result in improved work culture. Learning organizations are not built overnight. It is a very slow and steady process of cultivated attitudes, commitments, management processes. So any companies that wish to become a learning organization can begin by taking some of the steps. One of the steps is foster an environment in your organization that is conducive to learn. The second step is open the boundaries, stimulate the exchange of ideas. The third step is eliminate the barriers that is impeding the learning and assign the learning a higher position in an organizational agenda. So when we talk about the role of the leadership, I think Peter Singh emphasized the role of leader in creation of a learning organization. He has defined that there are three leadership roles that basically reshapes the old-fashioned approach to being the boss. The approaches that he has shared, one is called as a leader as designer, because he says that the leader is a designer. He defines it in three ways. The leader need to create a common vision with shared values and purposes. Leader need to determine the policies, strategies, and structure that will translate the guiding ideas into business decisions. And the leader need to create also in a system an effective learning process that will allow for continuous improvements, for example in the policies, the structures and strategies. So leader need to act as a designer. The second one is the leader is a teacher. The leader over here in a learning organization is seen as a coach that works with the mental models present in the organization. He must understand the concepts of reality and need to restructure the views to see beyond the superficial conditions and events into something called as an underlying cause of the problems you need to understand. So leader need to be a teacher. The third one is leader is a steward. This is some of the vaguest of the three, and it is referring largely to the something called as an attitude of the leader. He emphasized the importance of a leader that feels is part of something greater, whose desire is first and foremost not to lead, but to serve this greater purpose of building better organization and reshaping the business that they operate. So this is about the steps, the role of leadership in developing learning organization. But in this class, in this session, we studied in terms of the organizational learning and its theories, the 7 forms of organizational learning, the learning organization, the characteristics and the main activities, the applications, and finally, as I said, the role of a leader, how to promote or how to develop the learning organizations. Thank you so much, learners.